Hi parents, and welcome back to Kindness Milk. As a lactation consultant, I endeavour to share practical breastfeeding tips which can help to make your breastfeeding journey easier and help you to reach your personal breastfeeding goal. So if you haven't done so already, do consider subscribing to my channel and do consider turning on the notification button so that you get alerted when I upload more breastfeeding tips and tricks. In today's video, we'll be looking at power pumping, what it is, why you may decide to use this tool and how to use it effectively. Power pumping has become increasingly popular both amongst exclusively pumping parents as well as directly breastfeeding people who are looking for ways to increase their milk supply or to build a freezer stash. Power pumping attempts to mimic cluster feeding, but with a breast pump instead of a baby, which is why it's sometimes also called cluster pumping. Cluster feeding often happens during periods of growth spurts or during the early hours of the evening when a circadian dip in milk supply is common. Cluster feeding signals the body that there is a higher demand, so as the breasts are emptied more frequently, more milk is going to be produced. So essentially, power pumping is just your pump staying at the breast and trying to get more milk instead of the baby. In order to power pump, you'll want to sit down and pump on and off at an interval for about 1 hour. Most commonly, it is suggested that you start with your normal 20 minutes double pumping session. After the initial 20 minutes, you switch off the pump and you rest for 10 minutes. After the resting period, you turn the pump back on and you pump for 10 minutes. Then again, you rest for a further 10 minutes and complete the power pumping session with a final 10 minutes of double pumping. The amount of time doesn't have to be exact. Remember, cluster feeding babies don't exactly nurse for 20 minutes and then take a 10 minutes rest period and so on. But what I would say is that you try and get through your first letdown before you switch off the pump and take a rest period. And equally, if by the end of the 10 minutes you're coming to the end of the 10 minutes of pumping and you're still having a letdown, your milk is still flowing, continue until the milk flow has stopped. If you're power pumping and nothing is coming out, but you have ensured that your breast pump is set up correctly and you're using the right size pump shields and you don't have any blocked ducts or any blockages, you should continue pumping as the breast stimulation will release oxytocin, which eventually will give you another letdown and which will get you to make more milk. In order to see an increase in milk supply, it is suggested to include power pumping into your routine once a day. The evening works well for many mothers as they may have a partner around who can take care of the baby. Do this consistently over at least 3 to 5 days, as some breastfeeding people have reported that they've only seen an increase in supply after as long as 3 weeks of power pumping. In order to prepare for your power pumping sessions, you could set up a pump station in your room that includes your pump pads, bottles, a bottle of water, something to relax you, something to read, maybe your phone as well, some music, and or maybe a book, and a snack as well, and just to make it easier to go back to every day. Power pumping is most successful when using a double electric hospital grade pump with a strong vacuum. Also ensure that you're using the correct pump shield size for optimal milk output and breast comfort. You can convert an old sports bra like this one here just by cutting 2 holes into the bra into a pumping bra, so that will allow you to have your hands free so you can massage whilst you're pumping. This is also called hands-on pumping, or use breast compressions, or also if you want to hold a heat pack in place, which can also increase your milk flow. And if you're using a heat pad, ideally wrap it into a cloth, like a muslin cloth. A pumping bra is also super handy for when you want to lean forwards during the pumping session to let gravity help you with your milk flow. During the rest periods, it can also be beneficial to apply a heat pad or a hot compress to help widen your milk ducts and improve your milk flow, and also to use a gentle massage during the rest period can also give you additional breast stimulation. If you don't have access to a double electric hospital grade pump, you can see whether power pumping works for you using a single electric or a manual breast pump, and the suggested schedule then would be starting with the left side 12 minutes, right side 12 minutes, followed by left side 8 minutes, right side 8 minutes, then again left side 8 minutes, right side 8 minutes, and a final left side 8 minutes, right side 8 minutes. And while you're expressing one side, the other side is resting. So this is pretty much all there is to power pumping. If you have anything to add from your own experience, do share it with us in the comments below, or leave me a question if you have any. If you would like to know more about pumping, I've previously made a video about the basics of pumping, which I will link up here as well. And otherwise, until next time, hope your breastfeeding journey is going well.